All right, this is Max, and
This is Carlos.
this is our first
That's all we got.
podcast. That's all we got. Eventually, we're going to come up with some stupid name for this, like the whole enchilada or cocktail hour. But just a couple off-road guys that are going to be interviewing some other off-road people and getting to know kind of where they're at in the industry, maybe some new products that are coming out, trail rides, trip reports, race reports, things of that nature. What am I forgetting, Carlos?
This show is not only about the off-road, it's also about fishing and about cool places you go to, things you've seen, national parks, places you've gone to that you thought were kind of fun. We're going to cover those things, things that people, I think, should go see. Just kind of stop by and say, hey, this is kind of a cool place. Maybe have a couple pictures, and we'll put that on there. Other than that, I don't know. I think that's it. Just kind of show about everything. Everything outdoors.
Outdoor lifestyle type deal.
Yeah.
And hopefully a lot of off-road stuff, too.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind talking about expedition stuff, too. That seems to be quite getting popular nowadays, the expedition. I think their expedition portal is a pretty good forum. And there's a couple other stuff out there. So,
I like Expedition
good.
Portal. There's a couple good expedition forums out right now. I know it's a huge market. It seems like it's growing in my business. It seems like more people are, trying to outfit their daily drivers to get out and explore the backcountry, if you will, a little bit more. And it seems like they used to. So expedition, I think, is a great way of saying car camping or making car camping cool again. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I think people want to know is maybe we should introduce ourselves. Maybe you should go first and tell them who you are, what you do, kind of go that rundown.
Okay. My name's Max Dollinger. I've got an off-road shop in Louisville, Kentucky called Moab Off-Road. I always get a lot of people that ask Moab Off-Road, Louisville, Kentucky, how'd you get the name and all that stuff. So a little brief history. A guy here in Louisville started it with another guy in Moab, Utah. They had a small franchise of about 5 to 6 stores. I bought the store in Louisville from them back in 99. So this is starting my 16th year with the company. I was an automotive mechanic by trade my whole life, and that's kind of how I started to get into the trade. We do a little bit of everything. We have a retail showroom. Our business has been 95% Jeep exclusive for the majority of the years. We've been pushing really hard in the last few years. Speaking of this expedition market that's been getting a lot bigger, we've been pushing a lot harder into full-size trucks. We do our fair share of custom fabrication. We do a lot of one-ton axle swaps on Jeeps and coilover suspension, stuff of that nature. We do engine conversions, and we also do full-service repair, stuff like that. So that's a little bit of my background. Carlos, tell me about you, buddy.
Well, I don't have quite the resume like you do, but I'm more of the office type person. I do more of the office stuff. I did start in the off-road back in 2010. Had a couple buddies that went out to the King of the, Johnson Valley, did all the rock trails out there. That's how it kind of gets started. I always had the love for the off-road, but just never the ability to go out there and do it. And then I came across this good buddies of mine who had that raced out and did Jeep Speed and kind of other racing events, and that's how I got started in the off-road, really. One day, my wife took out we had a little 4-cylinder Jeep Cherokee 2-door. She took it out to a lake bed and almost flipped it, and after that, I said, well, that was my excuse to say, we're going to put a roll cage in it and turn it into a race car. And say we called it for safety, and that's how I got away with that. But I can't do that no more because I already pulled the wool over her head once. So, and then that kind of evolutionized. We went into racing, got some, second, third places out at the East Coast side with this little race organization of Trek, and did a couple short course stuff. Nothing too big. Did a couple TV appearances and things like that. But nothing. I was never, there's obviously more talented people than I am, but I kept my own. I had a little 4-cylinder, and it was always pegged to the max. You know, I have crazy stories on just my two-wheel, how I started in two-wheel drive and finally realized that I needed four-wheel drive back east because I was a West Coast guy. And that's how I met you, Max, is through that, is going to your shop and, taking the Jeep out there because there was something wrong and I couldn't figure it out. I'm not an automotive guy by trade, so I don't know a lot about that stuff, but apparently it was some ground wire that was not grounded. But other than that, that's how I met him, and then I'm sure he was laughing at the car, so he can tell you that story, what he thought of the Jeep Cherokee. That was a 4-cylinder, and he's like, woo!
No, I thought the car looked great. The fab work looked great. All the stuff that you guys put together. I did think it was funny when you told me that you were going to race out here in the Trek Series with a two-wheel drive 4-cylinder. I was biting my tongue to keep from laughing on that one. But after your first race, you realize, it's not like it is out west on the East Coast. It's a little bit more mud, and it's a race out here. You got to have 4-wheel drive. It's different than the desert race scene out west, and the 4-cylinder was enough. It was more than enough power for you to have, podium finishes. So as much as I would have, argued with you on that one, I would have thought at the beginning of the season that you would have needed to have, bare minimum, the 6-cylinder engine. You proved me wrong time and time again. You had a really good suspension setup, and you had a really good car and a fast car. So that's all that matters,
Yeah.
Suspension setup and suspension tuning goes a lot further than a real fast motor. So that was cool.
Yeah.
That was a fun time.
Yep. So that's kind of about me and kind of about you. But I think the other thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk to later on in the segment. We're going to talk to Josh Eggert, our very first guest today. He's with a little race team called Lovell Racing, and that's kind of an understatement. Lovell, they're not quite a small race team. It is kind of a big race team, multiple cars and things like that. But I met him through racing and stuff, and so I'll be excited to interview him and talk to him later on today about that. And, the other thing is, I think this talk about some other stuff was, I think you went somewhere this weekend, did something. I don't know.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had a little trail cleanup at the Badlands Off-Road Park in Attica, Indiana, with a group of the trail guides for the upcoming Jeep Jamboree. And I'm one of those trail guides. I work that event. I do kind of their extreme trail, if you will, for the Jeep Jamboree. So we had a lot of fun. We hooked up with some guys from Indy ORV. Indy ORV. That had some really nice rigs. A couple diesel TJs. Everybody was on 1-tons and 40s and link suspension and stuff. So it was a lot of fun to have a bunch of capable rigs, see some different builds with the diesel engines. And I don't know, we had a great time. I had to get some pictures posted to my website and on Facebook and stuff. So, but yeah, it was a great time. Wheeling season's right around the corner. All the Jeep Jamborees that I work at are right around the corner, stuff like that. So we've got a lot going on at the shop and a lot of fun trail rides and outdoor trips planned this year. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, so there is one thing I should mention. He looks a little darker because he's at a different time zone than I am. I'm in sunny California. It's nice and sunny. It's a little cold out here, but it's all right. It's all right. I might have a Louisville sweater just because that's where I went to school at. But I'm out here in Northern California. Moved out here with my wife and stuff. So when you see, one's light and one's dark, it's not because we're in two different time zones. So there is one more co-host, and his name is Will. He'll be coming on, and he'll be doing a separate podcast with me on a different day. And then once a month, we'll come on and talk about the podcast throughout the month and stuff like that. So that should be pretty exciting. I don't know. I think a couple people that I want to get on talk to is I think Jeremy, and people obviously don't know who Jeremy is, but he does a lot of fishing, and he within the last year has started going to a lot of different places. I think he's gone down to Georgia and Alabama and all these other places and gone fishing and stuff.
The Carolinas, Colorado, all over. He got bit by the fly fishing bug for sure. He's ate up with it. Him and Quentin both. So we had to bring them on here.
So
let them talk to us about fishing and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the guests. I think I've talked to him, and he's on board, and he wants to come on here and talk about that stuff. So this is not only about off-road; it's about other stuff too. We're also talk to some other industry people. I think we're trying to line that stuff up just to see what's going on.